Look, it's a flood.
It's a flood.
It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
The Red Cup Rebellion rages on.
Trump and Mamdani got along.
Is AI in or out?
What's all this stimulus check talk about?
And the 20 best cities to live in.
Where are you grateful for this Thanksgiving?
As the forks start rising up and crashing through them pies. In my opinion, fuck the AI is Doc
and Ziggy.
We are the flood. That's right, your favorite weekly pop culture digest.
Taking the news happening around us and talking about how it shapes the culture that defines us.
With our pop perspective to put that culture in context.
And makes a mainstream make sense, because if we do not make sense, we do not make dollars. Holla!
At the gang keeping the lights on.
Enraged Peacock.
Hey, we see you checking back in for another week with us, Slater.
Thunder Night. Ryo and an Andrew P. Raper.
Shout out to the original Dark Woke gang. I keep seeing Dark Woke trending for a long time, and I just want y'all to know that you here with the originators.
Dark Woke?
You here with the... What you mean, what is Dark Woke? You here with the originators. You here with the home team, the clique that's been keeping it funky with you since the very beginning.
Didn't even need to use the blick because we're not in for killing.
Damn, that's crazy.
Bars, though.
That was crazy levels of unk status. That was crazy levels of unk status right there.
Yo, I talked to my nephew this weekend, who is 17, and said that unk status is a state of mind. So,
shout out to all the Gen Alpha listeners hanging in there. Shout out to all the Gen Z listeners hanging out there.
Shout out to my nephews. I feel like at least one of them has listened to at least one episode, and I'm going to put my money on Colin.
I can tell you what everybody else is listening to in this week's algorithm abuse hit, which is... Back to Friends by Sombr, sitting at what I believe if I'm reading correctly, adjusting my glasses anime style for the listeners, over 1 billion streams on Spotify. Like, this shit has been doing numbers. It's been sitting on the charts for a while now. I want to say almost as long, no, longer than Golden, which has been holding that number 2 spot on the Spotify charts for 22 weeks now. Back to Friends has been holding its spot at number 4, I believe, for 35 weeks straight.
That's a lot of weeks.
I mean, it's a little bop. I get it. I understand why. When we listened to it earlier, you know, it piqued my interest. I don't know if I'll throw it in my rotation because it's pretty stacked right now with my algorithm abuse hits, which have been... That new Wale album that I was talking about last week, Everything Is a Lot, because whew, that shit is a lot, let me tell you. From the new Instagram trend that I'm seeing, like Wale intros be like... I feel like the culture is finally giving Wale a bit of the flowers that he has deserved, right? And
I mean, at this point, he's achieved unk status, right?
Well,
and when you get unk status in hip hop, that's when you get respect.
It's not even just that, man.
Like at this point, Lil Wayne has crazy unk status.
Listen, I don't even feel like
he's
it's
the
that.
Unk that tries to tell you that Joe Biden is a reptilian.
Yeah, wow, Lil Wayne.
Yeah,
right. Nah, because Wale, right, is finally getting, I feel like, a little bit more of the attention he's deserved now that Drake has been dethroned, right? Like, I've always personally felt like Wale fit that space just nicely and more authentically. Not that Wale is a Drake clone, right? Because first and foremost, if I feel like Wale was here before Drake, so that would be crazy. Second of all,
he's done conceptual stuff.
Too close to DC to even say that. Also, yes, thirdly, I feel like Wale has much more substance than Drake has ever imagined of having.
The fact that he had a whole concept album around Seinfeld.
Which is part of the reason why I feel like the Instagram trend, Wale intros be like, or I feel like that's not even what the hashtag is, but it's partly trending because in comparison, right, in the absence of, as we're all still sitting here kind of anticipatingly or anxiously awaiting what could be or is being teased as the return of Drake with these little Iceman teasers he's been doing over Instagram Live. Now we get like the return of Wale, who I feel like is really stepping out in rare form because Kai Cenat didn't recognize him at the BET Awards and, you know, felt some kind of way about it, which rightfully so. I mean, he's
Has anybody
like
drug tested Kai Cenat?
he's young. The nigga is young.
I get
I'll
it, but I
forgive him
also
for
want to
it.
know.
I mean, there are people right now who are listening
Look,
and are
I have
like,
seen 15-year-olds on coke.
there are people right
When
now.
I was 15,
What? That is a crazy call out. I was gonna say,
look, the 2000s were weird.
I mean, 15-year-olds on coke is nothing new.
Yeah.
But like, this is. I was honestly gonna say I don't feel like age has anything to do with why Kai Cenat didn't know or
I thought
recognize
you were gonna say age
Wale.
had nothing to do with doing cocaine, which I was about to say.
No.
Technically, you're correct.
No, I was gonna leave that where it was. I was gonna let the listeners unpack that for themselves because I'm trying to keep us on track here. Wale and Kai Cenat, I just feel like it made Wale, you know, kind of step back in his bag a little bit because this album is, you know, don't sleep on it, is all I'm saying. Another unexpected hit on my algorithm this week is the band The Mystery Lights, who, if you don't know, you should get familiar with because they are like everything in that. They fit perfectly in that retro nostalgia pocket. If you're looking for like some real funky, like atmospheric 70s psychedelic rock, but like from
And it's
now.
not AI.
And it's not AI, because let me tell you, every time I find a new band now, I'm like triggered, right? Like I gotta dig deep, right? I'm like going specifically out of my way right now to look for like bands with low listener counts and
Or
shit like
bands
that.
with their first album debuting before 2021.
Yes, which this band does have, right? Their first album debuted in like 2016-ish. They just released a new album in 2024. They've got a couple of new singles popping out, right? What Happens When You Turn the Devil Down was my gateway, right? And then from there, I proceeded to listen to a couple of other songs on that album. Follow Me Home was really good. And then I checked out their more recent album, right? And I really liked the songs Memories and Purgatory. So if you haven't heard, you should go check out The Mystery Lights, especially if you like that real funky garage 70s psychedelic feel.
And if you take garage out of that, it still appeals to Scooby-Doo fans.
Which I am a big Scooby-Doo fan.
There you go.
Have you had anything hit your algorithm this week that you have been abusing?
Yes, I actually have had music hit my algorithm that I am abusing. Being the little
Music.
Being the little militant that I am, I saw the live performance of Jesse Wells doing the song Red on Stephen Colbert.
Oh, yes, right. So Jesse Wells, who listeners might know, longtime listeners might know, we've talked about in the past, especially, I believe it was when we were discussing the country wave that was hitting the charts, I'm like a year or two ago.
Which is crazy, considering if he was climbing the charts, he's the total opposite of Morgan Wallen.
Yeah, so he wasn't climbing the charts then, but it was definitely a recommendation we made in opposition to your Morgan Wallens, right?
He has since been nominated for Jesse Wells is nominated for 4 Grammys. He performed on Colbert, And the song Red hit me as the media analyst that I am. I'm listening to it, and it's full of subtle metaphors, and then it hits you with a blatant metaphor. And it does that for maybe about a minute and a half, and I realize the reason he does that is so the blatant metaphors hit the people that aren't able to pick up on the subtle metaphors. So once they pick up on a blatant metaphor, they'll then be aware to listen to subtle metaphors.
It's like screaming after a dog whistle, just in case you weren't picking up on the dog whistle.
Exactly. And now you're like, maybe I should also... It's like whistling for a dog whistle and then screaming, hey, listen for the dog whistle.
Right. And if you haven't picked up yet, essentially what we're saying is Jesse Wells, if you don't know, now you know, is a folk country singer who...
Imagine Bob Dylan reverse-aged 60 years.
I was going to say who is very like Johnny Cash, Bob Dylan, like maybe a little Willie Nelson without the pot, right?
He's got a little outlaw country to him, but he's definitely at home in folk. I will firmly say that he is folk music.
I don't know necessarily where he is from, but I first discovered him on YouTube about a year or two ago. And
technically, so did I, because I don't... Who the fuck actually watches cable now?
He has now made his way to the Colbert Show, where he did a live performance with the two songs Red and Join Ice, both very timely tunes.
And one of the things I noticed is they had him performing in front of an American flag as if it was the film Patton.
Which is very fitting after the press release, would you call it, from the, 5 Democrats that Donald Trump called for the hanging of in sedition?
Yeah.
After they pleaded with their fellow countrymen and servicemen.
It's like your oath to the Constitution says that you're constitutionally obligated to say no that somebody is saying you to do something unconstitutional. Because your oath is to this piece of paper and not to the douchebag in the chair.
So my question is with this performance, following the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl performance, would we say protest music is back in?
Well, I mean, I'd say I'm fucked up, homie. You fucked up, homie. But God got us, then we gonna be all right.
Okay.
And it's been going on for a decade.
Okay. Right. So
People
what you're
have been
saying?
Realizing it's been fucked up for a decade.
So what you're saying is protest music never really left then, right?
If I said that it left, then I would be the biggest hypocrite of 2015.
Even though the man we're quoting said it's time to let the party die, right? Is this why it was time to let the party die?
It's time to let the party die when innocent people are not dying to police brutality.
Wow. Okay, Malcolm Gladwell. I really appreciate the transition you set me up with here, because I can tell you one person I'm glad hasn't died yet is Donald Glover, and that is especially after he revealed his sudden cancellation from his tour last year was the result of him having a stroke. Yeah, what? That is right. Donald Glover, during a performance at Tyler the Creator's Camp Flog Gnaw Festival, Childish Gambino admitted that he had suffered from a stroke under what was a monologue in the middle of the performance. He revealed that he had a really bad headache during a show at Louisiana, but he went on to do the show anyway. He recounted that during the performance he couldn't see well, and when they touched down at the next location in Houston, he went to the hospital and the doctor was like, hey, you had a stroke. And it's not funny, but it's funny to the way he revealed it in the concert.
I I walked into my boss's office, and she was like, "Do you smell popcorn?" And I'm like, "Now that you mention it, yeah, as long as we don't smell toast." And she had to ask, "Why'd you say that?" And I was like, "Oh, that's like the dead giveaway that you're about to have a stroke."
Donald recounted that his first thought was, "Oh, here I am, still copying Jamie Foxx." And then he said that was actually the second thing that he thought, and the first thing that he thought was, "I'm letting everybody down," right? Which a lot of the internet reacted to, recounting a statement made by Vince Staples in the Vince Staples show, which was that a lot of black men, no matter their status in society, just work until they die and like aren't really like, you know, I'm not gonna say like celebrated or appreciated, but yeah, it just kind of it felt like the fact that his first thought was, after suffering a stroke, I'm letting everybody down.
The fact that the second is I'm still copying Jamie Foxx
is crazy. So he went on to talk about how after breaking his foot in Ireland, he, you know, it seems like he's gone on like this weird health journey, and he's now like 42 years old. Like, you know, they found a hole in his heart, so he had surgery on that. He broke his foot. He's had a stroke. So, you know, he's getting to that age where like it's time to focus on health, I guess, right? And he essentially went on to say during that monologue, you know, he recounted on that age-old adage that they say everybody has two lives, and the second life starts when you realize you only have one. And so now he is out here trying to live his best life, which I feel like, and he is also, you know, being grateful for the blessing that is his life. And I, you know, just want to say that I feel like we are also grateful as a pop culture podcast to have been able to experience some of the cultural influence that is Donald Glover, right?
I mean, this is a basic white guy response, but my favorite Donald Glover is Community Donald Glover.
Hey, listen, Community Donald Glover is not bad Donald Glover, right?
At all.
That's like somebody saying their favorite Eddie is that's like somebody saying their favorite Eddie is SNL Eddie. And I don't feel like that's a bad take, right? Especially if you're one of those like the earlier work was the best work people.
It's Community and This Is America.
Which was a Drake diss.
But I mean, like, those are my two things. When I think of Donald Glover, those are the two things I think of. Are Community and This America. Oh, and that one joke where he says, "What do you call a little black person?" in sign language. And he just taps his nose and then goes down to his hip.
Community Donald Glover was great. If you haven't seen Community, please go check it out. It is probably one of the best sitcoms of the last, what?
It is also a very good summation of community college in the early 2010s.
Yeah.
As somebody who was there in the early 2010s, it's a pretty good explanation of what community college was
I
like.
think, though, when I think of Donald Glover at this point, I think a lot about Atlanta, and I think a lot about Childish Gambino.
Atlanta's brilliant, but it's like, I know Atlanta, I've seen Atlanta, and I feel like, unfortunately, Atlanta is not the first thing I think about when I think of Donald Glover.
Well, I mean,
like
because honestly, in true Donald Glover fashion, right? That was not actually the first thing I think about when I think about Donald Glover. I think, in actuality, the first thing I think about when I think about Donald Glover is college humor and bro rape, which I'm sure he wishes everybody would forget about, the same way Mamdani wishes everybody would forget about him shirtless in that halal cart, right?
Or about him saying, the one phrase.
Oh, the Antifada thing?
Yeah.
Nah, I feel like he was just recently on the Are You Okay Instagram or TikTok thing, right? And they asked him, what is the one thing you wished everybody forgot about? And he literally said, one time I did a music video where I was shirtless in in a halal food truck, and I wish that didn't exist.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's him in a halal food truck, and he's wearing like an apron, and he's got his
Is
fucking...
it better or worse than Max Kellerman's music video? Max Kellerman actually throws bars in that.
Okay, so in full...
It's a cheesy music video, but Max throws bars in that.
In full defense of my own personal opinion, because I hope to have both Max Kellerman and Zoran Mondani on the podcast one day, I'm gonna have to say, Zoran, I'm sorry, but Max Kellerman is definitely the better rapper, and the music video was better, but Zoran Mondani is such a likable...
No karate chops!
Yeah, Zoran...
No room for Glocks!
I think even Zoran would admit that, though. I honestly feel like Zoran is such a nice guy. He would be like, yeah, no, honestly, like Max is
dope.
Yeah,
like, let's all give it. Max is blacker than Stephen A. Even
wow. That's only something my white co-host could say. But as far as
the funny thing is, I would react the exact same way that Max did if Tio was there. I would just be like stone faced, like
And on that note, I think we're gonna take a quick
break.
And we're back. And we're back. And since we were talking about music, and since we live in the Lord's good 2025, and we can't really go a week without talking about AI
or Drake,
since it is kind of keeping the economy afloat as it is.
Apparently,
for the
NVIDIA.
For the moment. Thanks, NVIDIA. No, like, literally, though.
It's crazy that we hate billionaires, but we're like, NVIDIA, please don't. We know you ended up here on accident. We know you just wanted to make sure everybody could run the Unreal Engine. Please, just...
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't even know if it's just that.
But like,
we're
for real,
begging...
I feel like they ended up there on accident.
I mean, hey, that's a take, right? Because at this point, it is what, like 7 companies keeping the U.S. economy afloat, and there are people, including the dude who is synonymous for inspiring the film The Big Short, who are betting against the AI companies.
Yeah.
Right? And it looks like the bubble may be bursting. There are still some people who think that the way AI has kind of like altered the landscape is permanent, right? Especially when it comes to the music industry, as we were just talking about.
But, like you mentioned, the investor who inspired the film The Big Short, his name is Michael Burry, and he either had his sales listed publicly because FEC filings, or he wrote something about why he sold his stock, which means he probably predicted this a while ago. And if Michael Lewis is going to write a book about you, and then Hollywood will make a movie off of that Michael Lewis book, you probably are a pretty big deal. For the people who don't know Michael Lewis, look him up. He's also the guy who wrote the book Moneyball, which is why modern sports today all use analytics.
And perfect transition. Let's talk about the modern music industry. By one count, according to the Hollywood Reporter, there's about 50,000 AI songs uploaded daily to major streaming services, and 97% of listeners can't tell when they hear a fully AI generated track. In another survey, according to the Hollywood Reporter, 1 in 4 of all producers conceded to using AI tools, while others may quietly say that the tech allows them to produce dozens of ideas for a song, cutting the time it takes to work on a single track. AI-generated robot bands with Mad Lib style names like Burning Rust and Velvet Sundown.
I heard about the Burning Rust thing.
I heard about Velvet Sundown. Right,
where it was Burning Rust, and like all of the albums are variations on talking about how rust sucks and metaphors of rust.
And Velvet Sundown is like a 70s like style psychedelic rock kind of band, if I remember correctly, right? So it's like part of the reasons why now when I find a new band in my Discover Weekly that I like, I go down a fucking rabbit hole, like trying to figure out like if this band has any pictures of them. Like the one band that
Please have an album before 2021. Please have an album before 2021.
The one band that I really liked, Alone in My Room, right? I'm still not necessarily 100% convinced that that's not an AI band. Right, and it's only because there's like maybe a few pictures of like an album cover or like concept art with like people in it, and then there's like there was a Reddit post dedicated
often do
to
they make albums?
So they actually it's sparsely, to answer your question. They just put out a new single and they just released an album early in the summer, if I remember correctly, and they do have a Reddit post on like a post-punk subreddit dedicated to a single where somebody responded that they used to be in the band, but the band mostly consists of one dude who does a whole lot of stuff under the moniker Alone in My Room by himself, like which is fitting.
That's like Dave Grohl on the first Foo Fighters album.
Which is fitting for the title, for the name of the band, right? Like if it is just a dude alone in his room, then I'm kind of with that. Yeah, I'm kind of here for that, right? Especially when you hear the band. That is
famously how Dave Grohl made the first Foo Fighters album.
So the article goes on to talk about how the School of Music at the University of Miami took a representative poll of 2,244 U.S. adults to try to get like a general temperature on how people feel about AI music, right? And you would be surprised, right, at the willingness to accept it. Boomers, people like, raging like 50 and up, on the general were less likely to feel like AI music was okay, and that the artist that it was kind of like farmed from shouldn't be compensated in some way. And obviously
so the older generation was against it.
Yeah, despite what Joe Rogan may have you believe. Boomers don't actually like AI generated music. No matter how much Joe Rogan likes that 50s soul rendition of Mini-Men.
That one's really good.
Listen.
Especially to the Balrog, like black and white. That one's good.
According to a Frost Music poll, overwhelmingly 52% of people polled do not have a desire to listen to AI-generated music.
Question. 50 himself shared that. How do you feel about 50 himself sharing it? Clearly, he approves. Putting it to the Balrog training base.
I mean, 50 may not be a boomer, but I can also tell you that this article said that overwhelmingly Gen Z is more likely to pick up an instrument and actually learn to play an instrument compared to Gen Xers, which I feel like 50 probably, we would say 50 is either like
50 is a Gen X.
yeah, right. So
50 was a Gen Xer because we were teenagers in the 2000s. And he was an adult with music video money.
I can tell you, however, overwhelmingly 66% of the people polled do not listen to AI music ever. As far as I am concerned, right, now that I have trained my algorithm enough, I do not have to listen to AI generated metal anymore when I work out. So
I love what you told me off mic. You were like, look, I get it. These AI clickbait titles are good. I understand why you clicked on Metallica done as a funk band. I listened, I enjoyed, and then I downvoted.
yeah, yes. If you do come across an AI playlist, even if you do like it, I recommend that you click the I don't like button on YouTube.
You can listen to it all the way through. As far as the algorithm knows, that last note is what killed it for you.
Yes. And I have gone far enough down my metal journey that I no longer have to listen to metal, AI generated metal when I work out.
I want to say for the audience, an off-mic conversation, Doc has recently discovered how great Deftones are. Like he's known about Deftones for a very long time.
I have heard the name for a very long time,
recently,
right?
Just recently, he's like, wow,
Yeah,
every
yeah.
single album is a banger.
Yeah, no, that was the surprising
And
to
he
me.
was like, are
That
you
was
gonna
the
hold it against me?
surprising.
And it's like, I'm like,
No Britney Spears.
I'm not gonna hold it against you. I'm just glad that you're here now.
Listen, I mean, with the resurgence
I
of...
feel like that is the exact same way that you reacted when I was like, this Clips album is amazing.
I mean, I do wish you would go back and listen to some of the older shit, right?
But, like, at the same time, it's like, you know what? I'm just glad you're here. That's how I feel like when you were like, I'm now really getting into Deftones. I'm like, you know what? I'm just glad you're here.
I am, but I do really wish you would go back and listen to, like, Hell Hath No Fury, or, like, Lord Willin'.
I did watch their
like,
full Tiny Desk concert.
I do feel like you should go back and listen to Lord Willin'. Like, that
Last song they had at the Tiny Desk concert is straight up,
Crazy work.
no holds barred. I'm selling coke, and I love it.
And
Pushin'. I think that's what it was called. Pushin'.
And listen, like, my gateway into Deftones was My Own Summer, right? And it was through an Instagram
I'm actually
reel.
surprised it was not Changing the House of Flies,
Nah.
because that song is featured in a certain movie.
Is it The Matrix?
It is Queen of the Damned.
Oh, dope. I haven't watched Queen of the Damned in a while. I'm gonna have to rewatch it. I can see that overwhelmingly throughout
Queen
these
of the Damned
polls.
makes me go, Meg the Stallion is Drolta, or
Well, we can't have Aaliyah as Drolta. Like, that's not gonna happen.
Aaliyah is the Queen of the Damned, though.
I mean, yeah, it's better than Cynthia Erivo as Storm, which apparently there are talks of. I'm not okay. I'm not here for it. I'm not. It's not my first choice.
I mean, Halle Berry is Storm.
We had that.
I mean, who would we cast as Storm now?
I'm not gonna get stuck on that, right? Because I want to
Probably
finish
Sydney
this.
Sweeney in blackface.
So since you went there, I will jump forward and say that apparently there are talks to have Sydney Sweeney in the live-action Gundam series that Netflix is in talk to do.
Oh, it's a series.
Yeah, Jimmy Mickle, who wrote the Netflix series Sweet Tooth, is apparently in talks to direct an adaptation of Gundam, which is cool, right? Because one of the actors who is apparently stated to star in this live-action Gundam reboot, is also currently filming the live-action adaptation of Street Fighter, which is by the same production company that Jimmy Mickle is in talks with to do the big-budget adaptation of Gundam. Right?
And for anybody who's seen that Street Fighter casting roster, it is a wild roster. Some of it is like 50 Cent is Balrog, I really feel like is on point. Andrew Schultz as Dan Hibiki just tells me he's gonna get knocked out of the movie within 20 minutes.
So Noah Santino, who is also in that Street Fighter roster, is now allegedly tied to...
Is he playing Ken?
I don't know.
I don't know who he is, so he's probably playing Ken.
But is now allegedly tied to the Gundam reboot, which also may include Sydney Sweeney, who is not necessarily doing great in the cultural temperature check, if I have to be honest.
No.
I mean, aside from Joe Rogan, old man thirsting over her Master Roshi style, right? Her latest movie is not being received well critically, from what I understand.
Or who has it worse, Sydney Sweeney or Meryl? Because Meryl had it really bad.
I mean, Meryl has it really bad, if you catch my drift. But like, I'm not gonna go there.
Krillin is a home man.
Going back to AI music.
Hold on, before we do. I think post Shenron Wish, I feel like Krillin leveled up going with 18.
Well, the way you said that could be crazy out of context, but I do agree. Now,
it's a very ally statement.
Now,
we can call it Shenron wishing now.
As far as agreements go, it would seem that when it comes to AI music, Gen Z, however, is overwhelmingly more accepting of AI-generated content than their previous generations.
However,
right?
It seems they are not prone to producing it, at least when it comes to music.
Right. And they also seem to be on the right side of history when it comes to whether artists are paid fairly or not. Right. Boomers, 33% to 38% thought that artists were paid too much. Right. So overwhelmingly, boomers still agree that artists are not paid a fair amount, but when compared to Gen Z, who thought it was 22% to 44%, right? Like artists are paid too much versus artists are paid a fair amount, right? Versus the 7% of Gen Zers that said artists were paid too little, compared to the 3% of boomers that said that artists were paid too little, right? So when you look at those numbers compared to the acceptance rate, Gen Z consistently continues to be contradictory in their cultural standards.
You want to know one point where I'm at in the right point of history? I don't have a single AI generated profile picture. And you know, all those people who got stuck in the phase in 2022, they're going to have that scarlet watermarked letter in their profile picture album. This image was produced by AI. And I don't mean Alice Iverson.
I mean, listen, man, when you get into it, AI is deep in it, man. And as we were discussing a little bit earlier, right, it's kind of hard to ignore that the AI bubble is kind of fueling and keeping the economy afloat at the moment. I want to talk,
right? Like, if we're going to talk about AI and art, and we're talking about fake art, Look, I don't want to talk about fake art. I want to talk about fictional art.
Right. While we're talking about fictional art, let's talk about.
I saw this thread go viral this week about who are the best fictional artists, musical bands. Who are the best fictional artists? And I told Doc to come up with a list of some of his favorites. And I'm sure we're going to have some honorable mention type. All right, so I want to say some honorable mention. Do you have any honorable mentions, like some that you just know never hit your list?
I don't. Not honorable mentions, right? Because
So I want to say one honorable mention I have is the Beats from Doug.
okay, yeah, I feel like that's a good honorable mention because, like, you know, even if they don't make your list, because they didn't make my list necessarily, but I'm banging on a trash can, drumming on a street light.
Yeah, right. It's like
It's
pretty
poetry, right? Like
Yeah.
it's poetry, right? Like we are the beats. We are the beats.
Yeah,
We
you
are
know,
the beats.
Killer Tofu. Oh.
Oh, killer tofu. Okay. So, do other honorable mentions? Do you have other honorable mentions?
I will say an honorable mention that I have is Matt Damon when he performed Scotty Doesn't Know.
Oh, you know what? I do have an honorable mention, right? Matt Damon performing Scotty Doesn't Know is funny, right? But also, what did that boy band from Bob's Burgers, Boys for Now? That's that's a good one. Oh, and also we will go with Steve from
Blue's Clues?
No. Steve Smith from American Dad, right? Like every time Steve does one of his R&B like solo features, bro, like I mean,
He always slaps with that.
I mean,
I gotta give it to him.
I personally, I have to give it to American Dad, bro. I rewatch American Dad way more than I rewatch Family Guy or The Cleveland Show.
How much do we know how much Seth MacFarlane is involved with writing for each of them?
So from what I understand, he picked up American Dad after Family Guy got canceled the first time. And then when Family Guy got brought back, he kind of left it in the hands of his two like co-writers from Family Guy. So it's not even really like he doesn't really have anything to do with that show as far as especially now. Right, like in the very beginning, like maybe in the first like 2 or 3 seasons, but definitely not now. But yeah, Boys for Now and Steve Smith from American Dad are my notable mentions.
All right, so I'm gonna take the first pick, and I'm gonna stay topical and current, and say the K-pop Demon Hunters.
Wow, you're cheap for that. You're real cheap for that. But I mean, once again,
Just because it's new doesn't mean it can't be the best.
With them spending as much time as they've spent, what are we looking at? A 22-week streak at number 2 on the Spotify charts. I mean, gold.
It's hard
Listen,
to deny.
yeah, I mean,
It's really hard to deny.
yeah, it's out there, right? Like K-pop Demon Hunters is like Pokemon Go right now. You know.
All right, so it's your pick.
Oh, that was okay. So your first pick
Was K-pop Demon Hunters.
So are we going in descending order or are we going in ascending order?
It's draft.
It's draft pick. So my number 1 draft pick has got to be fucking Powerline from the Goofy movie, bro. Like, what are you talking about? That's Tevin Campbell, right? Like, that is the fictional pop star, right? Like, I mean, if like peak pop star is Michael Jackson, which I saw a in TikTok recently debating the idea that Taylor Swift has reached Michael Jackson status, and I would just like to ask you Zoomers to chill the fuck out.
Absolutely not.
Madonna.
She does not have a fucking holiday that she dominates the way Michael Jackson does Halloween.
Madonna. Mariah Carey has Christmas. Michael Jackson has Halloween.
At that point, Taylor Swift's not even at Mariah Carey's level.
Madonna was jealous that she didn't have women fainting over her the way Michael Jackson did. Michael would have wiped his nose with Taylor Swift's numbers, and that is to say nothing of the impact that Powerline had on anybody that saw the Goofy movie. One of the greatest straight-to-video performances I've ever seen. Has to be the best Disney song ever written. And that
was a straight-to-VHS movie, and it's so pervasive in our generation.
It is such a good Disney movie. It is literally one of the best.
Tower of Cheese.
I mean, that
movie proves that Goofy fucks.
You've Got a Friend in Me. King. I Just Can't Wait to Be King, right? Like, Disney has had some fucking bangers. I feel
like Circle of Life is more iconic than I Can't Wait to Be King.
I mean, I don't know. That is the song.
I'm not even gonna say
that is the song.
I have gone in public and just shouted, "Ah, Savenya!" Paused, wait a few seconds, and I hear, "Mama me say babo."
I mean, I get what you're saying, right? And it is the opener to the movie, right? But I Just Can't Wait to Be King is also very, very well remembered for the song that Simba sings right before his dad dies. Sometimes you get what you wish for,
Charlie Kirk.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I just can't wait to defend the Second Amendment.
Rappers are already making Charlie Kirk bars, and I'm gonna need y'all to chill all the way the fuck out. But yeah, my first pick is definitely Powerline.
All right, my second pick is Death Clock.
Damn. I'm not even gonna hold you. I forgot all about Death Clock, and that's a good pick. That's a solid second pick. Although I will have you know, whatever festival you book them for is gonna need an insane insurance package.
Oh, you're right. Absolutely.
Insane. As a matter of fact,
I'm gonna just book them in international waters.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know which band is a bigger liability clause at this point, because I
don't even care what your answer is. It's Death Clock.
I was gonna say Kanye, but
Death Clock.
Yeah, or Travis Scott, right?
Maybe South Park's rendition of R. Kelly. If you told everybody in the audience,
Tom Cruise is trapped in the closet.
Tom Cruise is stuck in the closet.
Tom Cruise won't come out of the closet.
But yeah, my second pick is Death Clock.
All right, that's fair. I feel like my second pick for best fictional performing artist of all time has to be Chip Skylark from Fairly Odd Parents. Because, I mean, listen.
My shiny teeth and me.
If you weren't there getting your dentures ready with us in the early 2000s, right? If your shiny teeth game wasn't on point.
Chip Skylark is so influential as a fictional pop star that fictional pop songs he didn't even sing, I think he sung. Yeah, the tie your shoe song, turn it around, left and right. That's SpongeBob.
That's SpongeBob.
I think that's Chip Skylark.
That's SpongeBob.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is if you have seen the It Is What It Is podcast on Instagram or wherever you stream your social media content, then you will know that My Shiny Teeth and Me hits generationally. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So you might call me out for a cop-out on this last one.
I mean, you already hit a cop-out with fucking Huntrix, but, I was going to let you live.
My last pick is Gorillaz.
That doesn't count as a fictional band. They are a real band with fictional characters. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. I would have let you live with like Paperboy from Atlanta, right? Who is a fictional rapper in a TV show. I might even let you go with like the Blues Brothers, right? Like I might even let you live with like Hex Girls, who I feel like should get an honorable mention because they're not actually, you know, Hex Girls don't get an honorable mention. That's my third. My third choice is Hex Girls.
All right, fine.
My third choice is Hex Girls.
Yami
I'm okay with that, actually. I'm okay with that because even though they were kind of like a real band, like most of us know them
also
as
had a cartoon
being a fictional band
and being da dee dee da dee da dee do.
Most of us know them for being a fictional band who just actually happened to be a real band. But you know, if you don't know, you should definitely go. Damn, it wasn't Zombie Island that the Hex Girls were featured. What Scooby Doo?
The ultimate pro pick would be Soul King from One Piece, which is actually just Brooke.
Wow.
Or who's the fucking girl with blue hair? Miku?
Hatsune Miku?
Yeah. The ultimate cop out would be to pick Hatsune Miku.
I'm actually really glad you didn't pick Hatsune Miku. But yeah, I mean, listen, regardless, right? The entire point.
Does Daft Punk count?
No, Daft Punk does not count. But the entire point of this segment is that fictional bands are way better than AI generated bands.
Absolutely.
And we will be back, unfortunately, to talk about more AI generated content right after this break.
Mermaid. Shout out the Death Clock.
So as we're talking about AI, right? I thought it would be apt to mention all kinds of the chaos that AI is causing, right? As we are in the midst of what could potentially be one of the biggest bubble bursts in economic history. Right, AI is out here causing all kinds of havoc, right? Shifting all kinds of cultural dynamics.
And NVIDIA is just sitting there in the middle like, I don't know why we're here.
And all kinds of different incidents are going viral, right? A Justin Starling, an artist and songwriter, just went recently viral on TikTok after it was discovered that he was featured in a Skechers ad that he didn't pose for.
Oh!
A friend of his hit him up on social media and reported that they had seen a picture of him at a Skechers store in New York, and Justin Starling had to go ahead and, you know, pull up for himself to see what was up, and he found a photo of himself modeling a brand of shoes, except Justin, according to himself, had never agreed to appear in any ad campaign. They literally just used a picture of this man, and AI generated a photo of him wearing their shoes.
Well, I mean, I did see a photo generated into a video of Donald Trump tapping Bill Clinton on the cock several times.
I thought you were gonna say the one where he flew over the No Kings protesters and dumped all the,
that was blatant AI, and that was a whole AI generated video. This, the one I'm talking about, was an AI generated video from a picture that is real about Donald Trump lunging towards Bill Clinton's junk.
Well, the photo of Justin was also real. It was from an Instagram post that he made back in 2021 where he was wearing a completely different brand of shoes, and they photoshopped his forces out of the picture and forced him to wear a pair of Skechers. And it just feels like this is exactly what the writer's strike was about. This is exactly what the actor's strike was about and the director's strike was about.
Yep.
And while we were, over here lambasting at the audacity of actors who are probably sitting in one of the cushiest careers you could ever imagine, right?
Yeah, the famous ones.
Over their images and likeness being used without their permission, right? Not like we didn't just go over a whole almost decades-long lawsuit, I feel like, over college athletes' images and likeness being used without their permission in video games, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is the first year that NCAA football is back.
That's my point, right? And people wonder, right? People go.
I gotta tell people, Timothy Chalamet does not have season ticket courtside to the Knicks. Spike Lee does. But they give Timothy Chalamet.
People will say crazy things online, like, what are these people complaining about? Right. This is a perfect example of what these people are complaining about. This is, as was described by the Daily Dot article, an aspiring artist and songwriter, right? And who is not being paid for their likeness. A likeness that was manipulated with what we will not assume was AI. We could, you can say was Photoshop, right? So calling it AI may be a stretch.
Adobe premiered.
But the fact that these corporations feel like they are incentivized and kind of like inclined to using people's images and likeness at their will because they like, what are you gonna do, right? Like, and people are telling Justin that he should sue, and rightfully he should fucking sue, because what the fuck do you mean? You can't even. The amount of times I see like blurred out Sprite bottles
this guy even used specifically for the ad?
So they don't have to pay models, right? Because, oh, God forbid you do.
Why not AI generate a fucking tard then?
At that point, right? Like, at that fucking point, like, where are we at, right? Like, that's kind of my point in bringing this up, because, like, where are we at? At the same time, I'm seeing this article, right? I saw another article on the Daily Dot. That was reporting that Fox News has been accused by several actors at this point, including Kristen Bell and Brian Cox, of using their voices without consent in what seems to be their latest endeavor into further indoctrinating their viewers. Fox Faith is a new Fox subsidiary, right, under the media umbrella that is, I guess, Fox Podcast, right? Fox Faith features a podcast called The Life of Jesus podcast. Multiple film and TV stars were blindsided this week with the announcement that their voices would appear in the podcast, including Kristen Bell and Brian Cox, and also Malcolm McDowell, who were informed that their voices were and audios from over 15 years ago were being repurposed for this Life of Jesus podcast. The network announced as of March 19th that Fox Faith would be using over 100 celebrity voices to broadcast the life and teachings and miracles of Jesus Christ.
This is dead ass just the same thing Scarlett Johansson sued OpenAI for.
Literally. Like,
the exact same thing.
It's just so out of fucking pocket, bro. It reminds me of, like, I don't know if you're...
Corporations can't do it. let very clever individual programmers jailbreak their shit and then share it on Reddit. That's the ethical way to do it.
It reminds me of the like self-help space that exists on social media and YouTube, right? Like if you dabble into like the male workout space at all, you will stumble across like these motivational video compilations, right? Like the winter arc compilation, the do it alone compilations, the who's gonna carry the boat compilations, and they all feature different cuts from all these like philosophical motivational speakers and stuff like that. And it's like, who knows how many of them agree with the, I guess, ideals promoted by the platform on YouTube, right?
So I had a light bulb moment in the middle of saying what I last said. I hate that AI companies would steal somebody's voice and promote it that way. But the way I just spoke lauded somebody who would jailbreak their technology and individually program that device, their device, to have that voice.
A representative for the good
What
place.
do you think on that? What do you think on that?
So I can tell you that a representative for the good place said that Kristen Bell, while she had consented to her voice being used for Mary Magdalene in a New Testament audiobook called The Truth and Life Dramatized, right? She only learned about that audio being remixed and reused for the Fox News podcast while on Fox and Friends to promote a new project, right? So
Wow.
I can tell you that would feel like learning that you know your voice had been like audio hijacked by like some kind of pirate to promote something or other. Like it would be like finding out that I don't know.
That people selectively took clips of you saying individual syllables from this podcast and stitched them together into saying some wild shit?
Yeah, exactly. Similarly,
imagine if they stitched all of the syllables together to where you say your daughter is a homophobe.
The network
That would be wild.
Similarly, failed to inform Succession actor Brian Cox, who was even more upset about it in 2021. Brian Cox literally called Fox News like the devil. So finding out that they're using his voice for without consent, yeah, you know.
So I actually had another question I wanted to ask about the AI bubble. Do you believe that NVIDIA was actively pursuing AI, or do you believe that other companies realized that NVIDIA's technology was necessary for AI progression? Because I'm more inclined to believe the latter.
At this point, dude, I'm not even gonna hold you. I think everybody in the tech space bought into the AI bubble the same way that touch screens hit the ground running, the same like way that
NVIDIA
3D hit the ground running.
Company people can go to get this off the ground, though.
I mean, yeah, because their focus is mainly on the hardware aspect of all of this, right? Like the same way
it started just trying to maximize frame rate.
The same way that a lot of the money in AI right now is in the data centers, right? And it's in the infrastructure to keep the data centers running, because AI requires massive data storage, right? Like massive data accumulation, right? And the levels of investment going into not only the prospective kind of uses of that data accumulated by AI or the way that AI accumulates that data, but also the storage of that data and the energy used to, I guess, accumulate that data, right? So right now I feel like we have a run on ways to monopolize and kind of capitalize on all of this data being accumulated, which started with social media, right? Like social media was the original data accumulation operation, right? But it's going all the way now to AI toys, which according to Newsweek are featured to be like one of the big booms of this Christmas season. That is, if you have money to buy toys this Christmas.
Oh no.
Smart AI.
You only get 3 dolls. Only 3 dolls.
And they all have to be AI dolls, especially if the tariffs on China are lifted, right? Smart AI toys are currently valued at $34.87 billion, according to the research from Market Research Futures. $207 billion and are valued to reach $270 billion by 2035. China accounts for more than 40% of that growth, as per report from the Global Times, right? So China already has a 40% foothold in the global AI toy market, which is expected to you mean DeepSeek?
DeepSeek OP.
I mean, listen, the fact
Its
that
logo is a shark.
The fact that China unveiled DeepSeek for like a fraction of the cost that
a fraction
that OpenAI was functioning at is already a bad fortune for the US market when it comes to AI toys.
Future Dan, do what you will with this next line. Miracles happen with slave labor.
Wow. I mean, listen, that's exactly what Trump and them is trying to get popping now. Don't get it mistaken. They got rid of all those immigrant workers and lowered all those child labor laws and got rid of the fucking U.S. Department of Education for a reason.
Was what I said, like, out of pocket, or was it, like, we shouldn't be laughing at this?
No, I was gonna say it's on par for what we've been talking about with the podcast, right? Like, if you've been keeping up, then you know that literally what they are expecting to happen here is factories to be built in the country and for kids to be working in those factories. In June, Mattel and OpenAI announced a collaboration which will see Mattel bring the magic of AI to age-appropriate play experiences. I don't like that phrase at all.
I always get nervous whenever I hear "bring the magic" because I'm like, oh my god, another secret lair.
Oh man, Josh Silverman, chief franchise officer at Mattel, said in a press release, each of our products and experiences is designed to inspire fans and entertain audiences and enrich lives through play. AI has the power to expand on that mission and broaden the reach of our brand in new and exciting ways, right? And now, as somebody who grew up with, like, you know, I guess, like,
we're millennials. We know how shit works, and apparently we're the only generation that does.
I was gonna say, as like somebody who grew up with like the idea of like hopeful tech futurism, right? The idea of AI toys inherently is intriguing to me. Right, because
I've seen too much sci-fi to think it's a good idea.
I mean, but also as somebody who has seen Megan
already made me fucking terrified.
That's my point. As somebody who has seen Megan, I am not necessarily excited.
As somebody who has had to try to sleep in the same room as a Furby, I can tell you it's not a good idea.
A September poll from Pew Research Center found that half of Americans are more concerned than excited about AI toys. That figure has risen from 37% in 2021. While
what?
It's so more than half of Americans. Then that is up from 37%, which is what it was at in 2021. Meanwhile, 10% say they are more than excited than concerned.
I would love to know the age range of the 10% that said they are more excited.
Right.
And I bet they're 15 to 28.
The same study found that 53% of people polled said that AI worsens people's ability to think creatively, and 50% said that it will worsen people's ability to form meaningful relationships with others.
If Honey Boo Boo had a reboot, it would be sponsored by AI parenting.
The fact that it says more than 50% of people are afraid that it will worsen people's ability to form relationships with others is extra funny to me because of a Vice article that I found earlier today that said that people are settling for AI companions over human partners for like a myriad of reasons, some of which I like.
That's so
I can't
sad.
argue with. Yeah, it is sad, but I can't argue with a lot of it,
It's
man.
like, yeah, I'll take this companion and forego literally everything physical about a relationship.
Most people, are still kind of like hesitant to dive into the AI chatbot space, but around 19% of adults, according to this Vice article, have reported that they have chatted with an AI system, right? So
What does chatting imply? If chatting implies having it make a spreadsheet, yeah, I'm guilty.
I can tell you that according to an NBC poll, 29% of adults under the age of 30 and 26% of those adults ranging from 30 to 44 report feeling lonely, right? So you can we've already talked about the loneliness epidemic that is happening throughout America, right? And it just seems like AI companions are filling that gap, right? So you can...
My suggestion to all of those people is write a book. And don't use AI to do it.
You can take any reason ranging from emotional safety and control to non-judgment affection and all the way up to validation, right? And there are more than one reason why people might consider choosing an AI chatbot as a companion compared to, seeking an actual human partner. Right.
Like a hooker.
Or like a therapist that you don't have to pay out the wazoo for. I mean, humans are social creatures, right? So the need to feel validated. We just talked about last week.
Actually, but like you saying a therapist and me saying a hooker is very, like...
The same thing.
No, it's not. But it goes to say people looking for the emotional and psychological validation while also looking for the physical validation.
I mean, I guess I would argue the only thing you can't get from a therapist is physical validation,
or
right?
An AI chatbot.
As we've covered on the podcast, these AI chatbots go pretty deep when it comes to the psychological validation, right? Which I think is a lot more important to most people than physical validation.
But people don't understand the value of physical validation until they feel it. Which is a problem because it's almost like the how are you going to get the entry-level job without the 5 years experience, you know?
I mean, I get it, right? We've all seen the posts that go viral on like incel Reddit, right? Where one of them finally gets a girlfriend and they finally get laid and they're like, guys, you know what? Actually, women aren't all that bad. I'm leaving the subreddit, right? But like here, what we have is a problem I feel like more akin to the discussion we were having last week where we were talking about the unrealistic standards or the perception of unrealistic standards when it comes to like dating and intermingling in modern society. I think this is very consistent with what we've been seeing lately when it comes to the way people are interacting with each other in a post social media space, right? The standards of how you expect to be perceived are now based on social clout and aura farming, and a lot of people don't readily know, or I guess I will say,
when it comes to aura farming, we all lose to Sung Jin Woo.
I guess I will say,
aka the protagonist solo level.
a lot of the younger generation don't necessarily understand that most people don't expect real life to be like social media.
For those people, I recommend by the time you are listening to this, it will be on Amazon. My book, A Focus on Distraction. I actually touch on this subject in chapters 4,
nice humble
9,
plug.
11, and 16.
Very, very timely humble plug there. We love that. We love the humble plug. I mean, it was predicted a long time ago, right? Her wasn't the first movie to ever, kind of explore the idea of a parasocial relationship.
No, that one with the house movie on Disney.
Smart House?
Yes.
I'm sure a Twilight Zone episode hit this topic beforehand,
I'm
right?
sure a Black Mirror one did too, but
I'm not surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if AI toys take off either, because I would be lying to you if I told you 13-year-old me wouldn't have been super excited about an AI toy, right? Like, remember when
13-year-old me would be excited.
Remember,
assuming my parents were as blissfully ignorant as they would be, exactly as they are today.
remember when the new millennium jumped off and we got like all those new tech toys and like all the new tech pets and
This is
stuff?
after we all were relieved that the planes didn't fall out of the sky.
Yes. And we got like the robot puppy and like stuff like that.
I
and
was
like,
still riding high on that like Fisher Price plastic castle with the lion face.
yeah, fair enough. But I mean, like,
Because that thing, I was able to ride that high for like 5 years.
this is like,
Not only that, to me, that was the sequel to the Gray Castle. I was lucky. I had the Gray Castle, too.
this is like a better version of that, right? Like these, I mean, I know Labubus don't talk, but like, could you imagine if Labubus were more like Furbies and they like had
That sounds
AI?
literally just like a more terrifying version.
Yeah, I mean, first, they already are fucking spreading rumors about them being like possessed versions of demons or whatever. Like, can you imagine if they could talk and they had AI tech in them? It would be great. It would definitely be great for Thanksgiving and pissing off like your conservative grandma, right? It's like,
Oh, I know. A whole. If you've been on Threads, liberal Threads is so excited for Thanksgiving right now.
it's gonna be out of pocket, and I guess
How do you
we'll.
feel about Zoran? I think he's a communist. Well, really, I think Trump seems to like this.
And we will talk about that after this break. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Now, to be honest for a second, Donald Trump would let Zoran do whatever he wanted to him.
Wow. I mean,
You saw the way he looked at that hit. You saw the way he looked at Zoran.
So I'm not gonna hold you.
That man could tell him to withdraw funding from Israel, and he would have done it.
I am just as perplexed as the rest of America that Donald was so pleasantly amused with Zoran Mondani.
No, he was just flat out awestruck. He was awestruck. Are you
But I
kidding me?
do feel like
Zoran could have done no wrong in front of Donald.
it was a testament to the powerhouse that is Zoran Mondani. Listen.
like charisma on Max.
On Max.
This dude,
on Max.
This dude beats Fallout 4 with all charisma, no kills.
I mean,
and that game is
literally.
impossible to beat without killing at least
Zoran
I think,
is
three people.
rolling
I think
a-
Fallout 4, you need to kill 3 people.
Zoran is rolling a 20 on every roll.
Fallout 3, I know you can beat without killing anybody.
I don't know how after the fallout between the two of them
Well done.
on Twitter, how this did not divulge into a Zelensky meeting, and I assume it is because JD Vance wasn't there, because he is clearly trying to save his marriage.
Save his marriage or start another.
The choice is
I
up
bet
to
he
you,
gets married in
JD.
Utah.
The choice is up to
There's
you.
levels to that joke I didn't even intend.
You and I know. Protect your neck. No. Listen.
But no, like really.
Usha has apparently responded to all the divorce rumors.
I gotta admit, whenever I see Usha trending, I'm like, can people just not spell Usher right? Because every single time it involves Usha, it involves thirst trapping and shit like that. And I'm like, God damn it, did Usher pull another Kiki Palmer?
I am kind of surprised Usher hasn't swooped in at this point in time, because it would be the perfect time for Usher to swoop in and steal the vice president's
Baby,
wife.
tonight, JD got us falling in love again.
Listen, that would be a maneuver for the century.
Dance, dance, dance like the last
What's
light.
worse? JD Vance getting his wife stolen by Usher, or Stephen Miller getting his wife stolen by Elon Musk?
What's worse is Stephen Miller's wife. What's way funnier is Usher.
Usher. It's a whole Tom, Sarah, and Usher
Like
moment.
Usher
right?
and Usher?
It's a whole, it's like a whole Tom, Sarah, and Usher moment, right?
It would be like Usher squared R.
No, the fact that Don really had nothing bad to say about Zoran.
Nothing. I watched the whole press conference.
Now, from what I understand, I
It was
do
literally nothing bad.
believe that
Zoran even managed to keep Trump on topic.
I do believe that since the meeting, things have gone back to business as usual on Twitter.
I mean, Zoran definitely still called him a fascist, which is fine.
I mean,
Donald told him that he could.
Yeah, gave him full on permission, right? I do think it was interesting, though. I don't know if you noticed this, but Don spent the entire interview sitting down,
Yeah.
which,
Only happens when he shits himself.
not to put my tinfoil hat on,
But he might have shit himself.
or Don may be going through a bit of that Donald Glover thing. Right?
Stroke. Stroke?
I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know, right? Because Steven Seagal don't stand up in his movies anymore either. And I'm not suggesting that Steven Seagal has had a stroke.
And
but,
Hitler killed himself in a bunker, so
However, I am
I don't know why
saying
that's relevant.
that the fact that Zoran Mondani, after all of this intense back and forth between the two, was able to make such an impact tactful impression upon the
He was the one
president
that reached out for the meeting, by the way.
is pretty impressive, if you don't mind my alliteration.
So Threads has been great for anybody who's been looking for a Wild West social media app again. Threads is great for that. And by saying it's great, I mean it's awful. But there's some diamonds in the rough. It's like Twitter 10 years ago. So by that, I mean it's great. But the thing about Threads being like Twitter from 10 years ago is you have crazy people from both sides. And that's the nice thing about Threads. So whenever you see Zoran and Trump go at it, you get people who are like, oh, Zoran bent the knee. And then you have everybody else appropriately G-checking going, Trump gave Zoran permission to call him a fascist in front of the press with him right next to him and patted him on the arm to do it.
It's crazy, right? It is crazy, right? And I mean, like, social media is like grasped onto it, bro. But I mean, social media is gonna grasp onto any kind of salacious gossip they can.
Grasp them onto the algorithm.
In the same way social media kind of grasped onto the rumor this week that went flying that Amanda Bynes had spoken out against Nickelodeon producer Dan Snyder, accusing him of getting her pregnant at 13.
Man,
right?
why are people picking so much on Dan Snyder? He already had an entire docu-series about his sexual transgressions. I mean, we all know he's a predator. Why do we care about what you went through, Amanda Bynes?
I'm over here like the fact that Amanda Bynes, who is 39 years old, had to step out and be like, hey guys, no, seriously, that clip that y'all were talking about was AI generated. It was spiced together clips from unrelated issues manufactured for lies and clickbait, according to Amanda Bynes. Wow, that was crazy. I really had to get
So was
through
she
that.
or was she not impregnated by Dan Snyder?
No, she was not. The since deleted video, which came from an Amanda Bynes fan account, the All That alum.
That's not Lori Beth Thunberg?
No. It was
I always wonder what she's up to.
yeah, Lori.
Like, always.
I feel like she just went viral for doing a Steve from Blue's Clues check-in with everybody, right, on like the anniversary of All That or something.
I appreciate Steve from Blue's Clues podcast, but it's very morbid. Like, I clicked on it, and he just looks at the camera and stares at you for a few seconds before going, do you think about dying?
Yeah, it's very
And I'm
Barbie.
like, ah!
It was very Barbie.
That's real heavy, like, right off the bat, Steve.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, man, Amanda Bynes had to check in with everybody and be like, hey, look, I seen the video clip everybody's talking about, and before y'all go on, like, a fucking Dan Schneider witch hunt, which I'm not
Has
necessarily...
already happened.
Yeah.
Has already happened.
You don't need to on my behalf because that shit is not real, right?
Like, just go after it for all the shit he actually did.
Unlike Jamie Lynn Spears, who let everybody just kind of, simmer on that whole rumor, right? Which, in her defense, you don't have to answer necessarily anyway.
Wasn't she pregnant from somebody else?
It depends on what TikTok account you get your information from. However, this was not some quiet on set left behind or unseen footage or whatever Amanda is calling absolute hoax on this. It is not real. You do not need to add this to Dan Schneider's hit count. And it is just one more reason why, I don't know, maybe the internet
Maybe you
is
should
dead.
believe women.
And you should definitely believe women. But maybe...
This is the case where the woman is like, that did not happen.
And the internet might be dead because, like, what's left on here? It's like fucking 3 websites and all of them are filled with AI content.
And Aaron Parnass updates.
Something else that turned out to be an absolute hoax was the getting tariff stimulus checks that keep trending online for whatever reason, and that Andrew Yang is trying to tell Democrats they should back, which I don't necessarily disagree with, right? Like, this might be one thing maybe we should call Trump's bluff on and be like, hey, you know,
wanna give us all $2,000?
people really did like them checks with your name on them, right? Like, Zoran probably went in there and was like, hey, we just want to build more houses, Don. And Don was like...
That's exactly. He appealed to his developer sensibilities and was like, look, think about all of the capital that can actually be gained, even if we reduce
And
rent.
that's where I'm kind of with Andrew Yang on the whole, like, maybe we should call his bluff on the stimmy checks thing. Like, you know, if you tell him people really liked seeing checks with his name on it, he might do it.
Zoran really was just like, look, if we're able to build more houses, then developers can make more money, even if we reduce rent.
Yo, listen, it was so bad that Scott Bassett had to... Is it Scott Bassett? Yeah, Scott Bassett had to come out and be like, hey, look, when he says rebate, what he really mean is, like, you know, with the no tax on tips and the no tax on overtime, it's like a $2,000 rebate, because you saving all that money, my nigga. Like, we really out here saving you money is what Don is trying to say. And it's like if we gave you money. We practically giving you money is what he's saying. It's like, what we doing. Don't listen to the Democrats. Don't listen to the Democrats, because the Democrats is trying to tell you that we costing you money, like with the healthcare and stuff. Don't listen to them. What they really focused on, they focused on pedophiles, because they're all pedophiles, right? But we're saving you money. We're saving you money, so why should you care about who's fucking kids? Because we're saving you money. And it doesn't really matter who's fucking children, right? Because, like, at the end of the day, aren't you still saving money? So, like...
Hey, fuck them kids. I'm saving money.
And
there is levels to that joke you and I know.
we should all agree with Andrew Yang here and actually call the president out on his bluff and be like, yeah, no, send us stimulus checks.
And I'd be like, yeah, that was more than the COVID checks, and I know that started with $1 trillion.
Send us stimulus checks, my
I think
nigga.
it was
like
$1.6 trillion they distributed to people during COVID.
Let's bankrupt the U.S. economy and then hold billionaires accountable and redistribute wealth after we give everybody stimulus checks. Is what I'm saying.
We seize the means of production, though.
Now we should probably do that now, because if you don't know, now you know. The Starbucks baristas have gone on strike again. That's right, they are not done fucking around with America's favorite coffee shop. Probably not, because America runs on Dunkin',
stores,
right?
or is it nationwide at this
No,
point?
it's like a nationwide strike. Hold on, I'm trying to find the article. Starting on Red Cup Day, which I believe was like November 19th, over 30 stores in 25 cities have gone on strike. I think bringing the total to 95 stores across 65 cities in the entire United States, right? And this culminating in an actual disruption at an East Coast distribution facility in Pennsylvania. So they are no longer just striking outside of Starbucks, they are striking outside of an actual distribution facility, causing a disruption to the actual chain of supply, right? Which I'm totally here for. This is punk rock as fuck.
Absolutely.
The Starbucks Workers Union claims it has negotiated for more than 18 months to finalize a contract covering 9,500 unionized baristas in 550 stores. So over 2,000 of those baristas are on strike right now at the moment. Some of their demands include starting pay of $15.25 an hour. The company is trying to claim that baristas make up to $30 an hour when you include tips, right?
Bullshit.
But that's for baristas working 20 hours or more per week. And 20 hours or more
is bullshit.
is per week is crazy.
I've worked in a Starbucks. I can tell you that's bullshit.
So this is just a continuing trend, though, of what has been Starbucks baristas striking for what is like the last 2 or 3 years that we've been covering at this point, right? And the fact that it is now escalated to them striking outside of and blocking a distribution facility and them disrupting the production chain is really signaling that this movement is not dying down. And we are living during what is another labor revolution. And I saw somewhere somebody compared baristas the other day to this generation's version of coal miners, right?
Who is our generation's Robespierre? Who leads it and then goes off the rails?
Well, it's definitely not Sean Fain.
I'm thinking Fighter.
Once he's done shocking his dog.
And that's why we bring her to the guillotine.
I do feel like that even though it is obviously evident that being a barista is not as dangerous and as deadly a job as being a coal miner.
But
And
it is
coal
still
miners,
demanding.
yes, and coal miners are still an existing job, right? But the fact that we have a lot of the labor protections we have now is because of
Regulations are written in blood.
coal miners and steel workers and factory plant. I mean, hello, the jungle, Upton Sinclair, please.
Yeah. If you've ever read like a labor contract and be like, well, of course, that's common sense. It's there because
It wasn't common sense at one
it
point.
wasn't common sense at some
Please
point.
go read The Jungle by Upton Sinclair, and then you will understand what it took for this country to recognize that maybe we shouldn't have 12-year-olds working in meat packing plants.
Maybe we shouldn't store nuclear waste in, the bedding area.
Shout out to the Radium Girls, right? Where it took women's jaws falling off for people to be like, oh, maybe PPE is necessary.
Yeah.
Like, the reason why we have those things is...
OSHA, OP!
Right. The reason why we have OSHA is because we've literally been through this before. And as we covered when we were talking about the writer's strike and the director's strike and the actors guild strike, as pretentious as you may find Mark Wahlberg and Ben Affleck,
Mark Wahlberg at this point more than Ben Affleck.
a lot of what these actors were fighting for were some of the protections that will benefit a lot of us, even if your job isn't necessarily directed or directly impacted by AI at the moment. It's not just AI we need to worry about, right? We not all of us are Kristen Bell and Brian Cox, but some of us do need to worry about the narrative and the cultural movement that seems to be the deregulation of labor.
So I saw another thread get a lot of attention this week. Have you ever seen a Mark Wahlberg movie where he's legitimately good? Like doing a good performance? Because I can think of one.
Was it Three Kings? What was that movie he was in with Ice Cube?
No, the one I'm thinking of is The Other Guys, where he's a cop partner with Will Ferrell.
The Other Guys is good.
I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly. Shout out, Enraged Peacock.
Yeah, Three Kings is good too, though. That's got George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, and Ice Cube in it.
Yeah, but that's like it's most of Mark Wahlberg's movies he's not actually good in. He's just Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that's a movie where I don't feel like he was being Mark Wahlberg. I feel like he was actually acting. Oh, that and what is it? No, oh damn. What is that movie? The fucking M. Night Shyamalan movie with Mark
Signs?
Wahlberg? No.
No, not Signs. The Happening?
Yes. That movie, despite it not being the intention, is actually fucking hilariously great.
I will say another one. I will say The Other Guys is fantastic with Mark Wahlberg because Mark Wahlberg is playing the Nicolas Cage version of Mark Wahlberg.
Two Guns was good, even though it's got like a 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb.
Four brothers.
Yeah. I mean, Four Brothers was
Got carried by Audrey.
that is fucking
And Tyrese.
That is fucking great. But
Tyrese is such a meme.
bringing it back, when it comes to this Starbucks strike, I feel like it is important because it has been consistent. And I do feel like the service economy is an economy that gets extremely underlooked and widely undervalued.
You don't appreciate your server until your food comes late.
It's the same. I mean, the same thing with McDonald's, right? Everybody feels like McDonald's work is easy work and a thankless work until they're sitting in the McDonald's drive-through for fucking like 15 minutes and they have to go back through it again because they got the wrong order, right? And it's easy to say, oh, my Starbucks barista shouldn't be getting paid $15 an hour because I'm working this fucking plumbing job and I'm only getting $15 an hour, right? But
how fucking awful would your day as a plumber be without your goddamn coffee?
it's not even just that. It's like, if you feel like that, then maybe you should reconsider what company you're working for. Right? The same way these Starbucks baristas are potentially reconsidering what company they work for. The same way I am asking you listeners to reconsider where you get your coffee from until this strike is done.
I also, if you want another reason to be on the side of labor when it comes to Starbucks, is Charles Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, is the reason Seattle lost the Supersonics. And now that we have to deal with the bullshit that is the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Also, if you listen to this podcast, I'm almost 100% certain that you support labor over capital, and
bringing back the Sonics.
You also agree that Starbucks has shitty coffee anyway, so the least they could do is pay their employees a livable wage.
Yeah, like Dunkin' Coffee is better. And
like legitimately,
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Legitimately, Dunkin' Coffee is better than Starbucks coffee. So I don't even really know what you're doing at a Starbucks still
also,
in 2025.
If you're paying less than $5 for Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee, it's not real Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee.
Also, if you're local and you're not going to rise up, I honestly don't know what you're doing.
Baltimore coffee and tea is also quite good.
So, with that being said, we're going to take one more quick break, and then we will come into our last segment, and we'll round things out. And welcome back.
Welcome back
to the final lap of the episode. Congratulations to you if you made it here with us, and we're going to round something.
And we know people that are still listening are Enraged Peacock.
Hey, we see you at the final lap with us later.
Thunder Knight, alright,
and Andrew P. Raymer crossing the finish line. And if you cross the finish line with us, please be sure to let us know on YouTube. Give it a like, share, and subscribe if you're feeling froggy as we get into the final topic of the episode, and that is an article I found on Business Insider about the 20 best cities to live in the world. And I thought that would be cool to talk about, as you know, we usually take a general temperature check of the culture, right? So
right, I want to say, of those 20, how many are in the U.S.?
Ooh, that is a good question. I actually did not look to see how many were in the U.S., although I can tell you there is a U.S. city here in the top 10, in the top 5, as a matter of fact. So despite what you may be feeling right now, the general consensus, according to Renaissance, a data and research firm, right, America does still have some culture left in it, some peak.
All right.
Some peak.
I'm going to take a guess of 5 cities, and you tell me if I am in the top 20 with these 5.
So I can tell you before you guess those 5 that the company Renaissance compared over 400 cities across the entire globe with populations exceeding 1 million. These top cities include popular hotspots, but you will be surprised, according to the Business Insider article, to hear some or add some of the ones that didn't make the cut. So go ahead and give me your guesses, and you will see as we go through them whether or not you were right.
All right, so I am going to take 5 guesses and see if they are in the top 20.
Okay.
I am going to say for the U.S. city, Portland. I am going to guess Osaka, Japan. I am going to guess London, England. I'm gonna guess Amsterdam. And I'm gonna guess San Diego.
All right, so those are your guesses.
Yep.
So, according to Renaissance's Best City Report, an annual ranking that spotlights the globe's most influential and economically thriving cities, to identify these best livable places, they compared over 400 cities, as I mentioned earlier. It scored each city on 3 factors: livability, lovability, and prosperity, using measurements such as the number of family-friendly attractions, walkability, public transit quality, nightlife, and overall economic wealth, and more. Right? These are of the top 20 cities of 2026. There are some familiar names across Europe, US, and Asia, and some even in the Middle East, right? So let's start with number 20. And if you want, I can give you a little bit of data on the city itself, such as like the population, the monthly cost of living for a single person.
You don't need to worry about all that. A general description, I'm sure, is attached to each one.
I mean, that is the general description, even down to the cost of a cappuccino, right? So, like, if you want to know, we can get into it. Istanbul comes in at number 20, right? And I can tell you that the cost of a cappuccino is $3.81, so that is cheaper than is that cheaper than the Starbucks cappuccino?
What? Let's go down this entire list, and the only metric you give me is the cost of a cappuccino.
Well, I'm probably gonna get into a little bit more than that. Like, I can tell you,
to know the cost of a cappuccino.
Well,
as we go along, and everybody in the audience, including myself, must wildly speculate about everything else.
That's not fair. Like, I can tell you that Istanbul's population is over 14 million, right? And that the average cost of living for a single person is, excluding household, right? Like, or housing, excluding housing, is $714, and the average cost of monthly rent for a 1-bedroom home in Istanbul is $964. Right? Hong Kong comes in at number 19 with a population of 7 million. Right, and the monthly cost of living coming in at just over $1,000.
Hong Kong is one I thought about, but I knew it wouldn't have been in the top 10.
Do you want to take a guess at how much the cost of a cappuccino is in Hong Kong?
What's the Chinese currency?
Do you want to go over or under 5?
Under 5.
It is over 5 at $5.14.
Damn it! All right.
Coming in at number 18 is Sao Paulo in Brazil with a population of 22 million. A monthly cost that is in Brazil, right? Like, I'm pretty
Rio
sure.
de Janeiro is Brazil.
I mean, Sao Paulo is in Brazil too, right? A monthly cost
Brazil's big.
Yes, it is a very big country.
Takes up most of South America.
With a very low cost of living, right? For a single person, the cost of living, excluding housing, remind you, comes in at just over $600.
The one main thing I want to know about the cost in Brazil is a BBL.
Do you want to know? I can't tell you that, but I can tell you the cost of a cappuccino.
You think it's cheaper than in America?
A cappuccino or a BBL?
A BBL.
Definitely cheaper.
Is it better?
I can also tell you that the cappuccino is also cheaper in Brazil, coming in at just $2.14.
Well, shipping from Colombia is a lot cheaper.
Number 17, coming in at number 17, we have Toronto, Canada, with a population of 7 million.
That doesn't surprise me. However, it would be higher if Drake didn't live
And
there.
a monthly cost of living for a single person coming in of just over $1,000. Do you want to know how much the cost of a 3-course meal for 2 is at a mid-range restaurant? Excluding
Sure.
drinks. Excluding drinks.
Okay, sure.
$85.
Really?
Yeah.
3-course meal?
Just over $85.
That's not bad at all.
And the cost of a cappuccino comes in at $3.91.
Reasonable.
Coming in at number 16, we have Shanghai with a population of 28 million. It is interesting to see the differences in range of population between these cities, right? Like, because, you know, Toronto...
Like, we've gone from, like Shanghai is a megaopolis.
Yeah, compared to Toronto, which just came in at just over 7 million,
Yeah.
right? Like, so, like, that's like an insane amount,
And
right?
to put it in perspective, like Baltimore, I don't even think would register on this. Like, I think Baltimore's city population is under 1 million.
I don't know, because if I remember, no, I think you may be right. I think it is under 1 million, but it is enough to completely encompass, I think, at least 3 of the counties on the
densely
Eastern Shore.
populated.
Yeah, it's enough to encompass at least 3 counties on the Eastern Shore. And I can tell you that the monthly cost of living for a single person, excluding housing, in Shanghai, is under $600 at $588.30 per average, right? With the average cost of a cappuccino coming in at $3.14. We'll jump forward here to the top 10. I can tell you that your guess of Amsterdam came in at number 14, right?
Oh, nice.
And we do have Los Angeles coming in at number 12, right? So we do have an American city making the top 20 before 10, but number 10 is actually Barcelona, right? With the
Ooh,
average
yep, that's a good one.
cost of a cappuccino coming in at $2.96 because, you know, obviously, right? But the average monthly rent for a 1-bedroom in the city is just over $1,500.
That's
Right?
a lot of money.
Yeah, for a city with a population of just over 5 million. Right, number 9 is Berlin, right, with the average monthly cost for living for a single person coming in at just over $1,100, right? The average cost of a cappuccino coming in at $4.44. Shout out to those angel numbers, we love that. Dubai came in at number 8.
Damn it!
Right?
I thought Dubai was too much like an amusement park to really put it.
Well, I mean, you might consider that with the average monthly rent for a 1-bedroom home in the city coming in at $2,400 a month, right? Just over $2,400 a month, actually. And the average monthly cost for living for a single person topping it at $1,100 a month, right? And the average cost of a cappuccino, $5.85, right?
Damn, imagine if you wanted a Dubai chocolate cappuccino.
Number 7 was Rome, right? With an average cost of a cappuccino coming in at $2.09. So shout out to Rome for the cheap caffeine boost, right? Singapore came in at number 6 with a population of 6 million and an average monthly cost of living coming in at $1,126, right? And the average cost of cappuccino coming in at $4.67. Madrid coming in at number 5 with the average monthly rent for a
Way to go,
1-bedroom
Spain,
coffee.
2 of the top 5.
Yeah. An average monthly rent for a 1-bedroom apartment being $1,500, but we are talking about like with the capital city of Spain here. So I would argue that that's not bad when you look at like rent in Annapolis or fucking rent in DC.
Also, when you
Right.
look at the soccer team that plays in Madrid.
Yeah, the average monthly cost for a single person coming in at just under $1,000,
Like,
and
I'm pretty sure if I lived in Madrid, I would care about football real quick.
the average cost of a cappuccino being $3.24. Right? Tokyo came in at number 4 with an insane population of 36 million, which, I mean, we know, like, Tokyo is, like, if not, I think it's Mumbai,
I said
right?
Tokyo,
Like,
I said Osaka instead of Tokyo because I was like, Tokyo's so big, it's probably got to not be that great.
I mean, like I said, if not Tokyo, I think Mumbai is the most densely populated city on the planet. But I can tell you that for being one of the most densely populated, and not, I think Tokyo is like the most expensive city to live in on the planet. But the cost of a 3-course meal for 2 at a mid-range restaurant, excluding drinks, is just over $40 per person.
And sake's cheap there.
The average monthly rent for a 1-bedroom home in the city is just under $1,000, and the average monthly cost for a single person, excluding housing, right, is also just under $1,000. Right, cost of a cappuccino, $3.26.
And way cheaper if you buy one of those abandoned houses.
We are into the top 3 now. Do you want to take a guess at the top 3 before I read them out?
Go ahead and read them.
Coming in at number 3, we have Paris. That is right. What is regarded widely online as one of the most dirty cities you could possibly visit. No disrespect to the French.
No, I consistently hear Venice is the dirtiest.
Venice? Yeah, I don't know.
I hear those canals are gross.
I've heard some pretty rank things about Paris and the rats, right?
Well, I mean, I've seen Les Miserables, so...
Population of just over 13 million and an average monthly cost of living just over $1,200, right? Paris comes in at number 3. So, you know, this is also based off of walkability, affordability, and, you know, lovability, right? And I mean, what's not to love?
Paris is very walkable,
Right.
just ask the revolutionaries.
The average
And the
monthly
English.
rent for a
And the
1-bedroom
Nazis.
apartment, though, and we also are once again talking about like the capital city of a country, is $1,600, right?
Also the fashion capital of the world.
Which is still pretty impressive when you consider the cost of rent in DC. And the cost of a cappuccino. Do you want to take a guess at the cost of a cappuccino?
$6.
$5.01 on average. On average. Still pretty expensive.
I knew it was going to be expensive.
Number 2 is New York City with the average.
Really?
Yes. Zoran City.
Or after Zoran.
This is Zoran City, right? With the average monthly cost of living for a single person, excluding housing, coming in at $1,600, right?
Excluding housing. Very important.
The average monthly rent for a 1-bedroom home, the second best city to live in the world, $4,000, 142 cents.
I literally cannot afford to live there.
Cost of a 3-course meal for 2 at a mid-range restaurant,
$200.
$145. Cost of a cappuccino,
$6.
$5.72 on average. On average. Coming in at number 1, a city that you also had in your top, London,
Really?
with a population of just over 12 million, just under
suppose
12.5
centuries of
million.
imperialism adds up.
With the monthly cost of living for a single person, excluding housing, coming in at an average of $1,300, just under $1,400 actually. And with the average monthly rent for a 1-bedroom home in the city, comparable to New York, coming in at just over $3,000 a month.
Can't
And
live there either.
the average cost for a 3-course meal at a mid-range restaurant coming in just over $100 a month, right? And the cost of a cappuccino coming in at $5.27. Now, part of the reason why I brought this up, right, is because, like I said,
I imagine London is great to hang out in.
I mean, our average listeners will know that I like to go over these data listicles a lot, right? Because they're good temperature checks for what is actually going on, especially economically, right? And
I'm gonna say the Pornhub statistics are gonna be hilarious to go over, considering all of the states that have gotten blacked out.
Yeah, the last couple of years have been interesting for that.
Like, we're gonna need to go over the independent gooners. Like, it's the independent voters statistic.
I mean,
Pornhub.
Pornhub.
These are all of the people who access Pornhub via NordVPN.
Pornhub really does have like a fucking monopoly on the free porn market. But I can tell you that, like, as far as the standards used to determine what makes a city livable, it is very interesting to see that especially the top two have very high barriers for entry.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, even when, like, Dubai was on this list, right? Like, Dubai was on this list.
Dubai's rent was cheaper than New York's.
Considerably cheaper than New York's, right? Like,
now I totally understand what Zoran was talking about.
It was like half of what New York's rent was, right? And the cost of living was much cheaper, right? I mean, shit, for what was once labeled the most expensive city on the planet, the average cost of living for a single person in Tokyo was much cheaper than the average cost of living for a single person in New York. I wonder what it's going to take, right, for the rest of the city. I mean, once again, DC was nowhere on this list. Not anywhere close. I would wonder, I wonder if DC is in the top 50, right? Like, and you know, I don't have that information on me. Los Angeles was on here, right? So, you know, we did have a couple American cities, but I do think that it is
American cities with a lot of immigrants.
Very poignant that the two cities that we listed were international hubs, because we both know that, like, walkable living structures is not something that's very common in American landscape. And even for some of the countries on here whose cities were listed, like, walkable living structures is pretty standard for a lot of those places, right? I would even say, like, England, for the most part, is, like, pretty walkable. Also, too, looking at the barrier for entry to, I just kind of guess, be in the space of what is considered one of the best livable cities is something that just isn't normal for a lot of Americans. Or people, period.
It's not normal. But
what should
be normal is following the Flood Pod on everything.
And that is on everything. On everything.
Once again, a shout out to our patrons, Embrace Peacock.
Hey, we see you all the way at the finish line with us, Slater. You made it. So did you, fellow listeners.
Thunder Night O'Reilly.
Andrew P. Raymer. And if you are a new listener here, first of all, thank you once again for making it to the end of the episode. Second of all, this is your final reminder to like, share, and subscribe if you're feeling froggy. And
Deuces!
We'll be back at y'all next week.
Deuces!
Look, it's a flood. It's flooding.
Get away.
Quick, we need to get to higher ground.
Open the floodgates.
Wait, why can't we talk about black stuff?